Welcome to SW's Information Station. We are going over the writing process of writing a larger academic paper. This video hopefully is going to be a lot shorter to kind of give you the basics of where to start, what steps to go in. And my steps are a little bit different than some of my colleagues, so, you know, find what's right for you. That's the key to writing. Find how to write that you can then do your best. Um, but this is how I had to figure out how to write a larger academic paper. So, step one, find your sources. That's always a good thing. One of the things I do when I find my sources is I get information and just like copy a whole paragraph. Okay, I need information about a horse. Copy. Here's the link so I can go back to it. Okay, and this is all I do, just information link, information link, information link. Okay, and then once I get my sources, because a lot of times I may not know exactly what that topic is about, or I may not have an opinion about that particular topic. Um, Finding the sources first really helps. Then make a claim, formulate a thesis. A lot of times teachers start with this, but unfortunately, if you start with this idea and don't revise this, whatever you write down, as you go along, a lot of times you get stuck in a subject that you don't believe in once you've read the sources, or that you absolutely hate once you've read the sources. So that's why finding the sources is first. Once you find the sources, then you can go, okay, what is this source talking about? I have a lot of source about draft animals, horses used as draft animals. I think I'll use that as my thesis, talking about horses as draft animals. Okay. Then I need a plan. Okay. And in developing my organization plan, how am I going to structure this? Okay. And I can do it with my sources. Okay. So maybe here I want to put source one or topic one. I'm going to talk about this. Use this source here. Paragraph 3, I may talk about something else. Carts that horses pull. Okay, just little notes to myself that, okay, first I'm going to cover a definition of what horses do, what draft animals are, and then I'm going to start into carts, and then I'm going to talk about something else in paragraph 5. Okay, then remember you also have to have a conclusion. So what's my conclusion going to be about? Okay, and my introduction. So before this, I need an introduction, thesis, statement. What's the main point? Okay, so I've got my first paragraph. I've got what's going in my second and third paragraphs. Oh, third paragraph is actually here. Fifth paragraph, I'm going to talk about something else, and then I'm going to have conclusion. So I can kind of, at a glance, organize what I'm going to do with this paper. And I don't have to worry about spelling. I don't have to worry about formatting because it's just a list at this point. But that's developing an organization plan. Then here it says write a draft. Personally, I switch these two. Okay. I actually start with the choosing appropriate quotations and paraphrasing as I'm writing the draft. Okay? So I start with the sources, especially if this is a topic I don't care about or have an opinion. If it's something I feel strongly about, I skip this step and start writing, and then I find I don't have sources to support what I'm trying to say. And sometimes that runs into problems. So, focusing on the sources first is a good way to get going. But in doing this, so we're going to combine both of these steps together, we're going to try to make a paragraph out of this source's information. So, right here, I'm going to start a paragraph. Well, what's my paragraph going to start with? Well, we've just started the introduction, so I'll have my thesis statement there. So what am I doing in this first body paragraph, which is my second paragraph of my paper? Well, I need to define things. Definitions are always a good idea. What is this concept we're trying to get across to this audience? So I have an encyclopedia here. I have information about what is the relationship between horses and draft animals. So, horses are magnificent creatures. That's my opinion. Okay? I think horses are magnificent creatures. Well, now I want to continue on this paragraph with a quote from this paragraph we've got up here. So, if you've watched any of my other videos, especially dealing with separating sources, one of the things we start a quoted area with is the introductory signal phrase. According to one source states, whatever, okay? According to one encyclopedia. It doesn't matter what you put. It just has to tell the reader we're now not talking about my opinion. We're not talking about my ideas. This isn't my opinion. Though this is my paper, this is someone else's stuff. This is someone else stating this. And in this case, we're talking about a definition from an encyclopedia. So, according to one encyclopedia, or the Encyclopedia Britannica, you can get very particular, specific with these introductory signal phrases and add a lot of words. If you mention an book title, it needs to be italicized. If it is the word you looked up, which in this case is horse, it wouldn't be in quotation marks. There we go. Captions got it right. Okay. So according to the Encyclopedia Britannica, before the advent of mechanized... let me see if I can do this British. Before the advent of mechanized vehicles, the horse was widely used as a draft animal, and riding on horseback was one of the chief means of transportation. All right. Now I'm going to paste this as keep text only because I don't want to have to deal with those links and the size of the font. So, yeah. Now, because this is in a sentence, I need to decapitalize that. But this is also word for word. Okay, so I need to put quotation marks around it. Okay, this is copy and paste, so it's word for word. All right, but this is what I'm looking for. This is exactly what I need. I don't need to change it any. So it's good like it is, but I need that in-text citation at the end. Now, I'm just going to put in-text citation because in MLA or APA format. Okay? Those you'll have to look up for the individual rules for that formatting to figure out what exactly goes here. Boom. There's my in-text. Now, this is the thing, especially if you are trying to compose this, starting with the sources, and you don't have an opinion. Okay? So my point in this paper has to do with draft animals and horses. Okay? Pulling things, maybe trailers, carts, that kind of thing. So draft animals. What can I say about draft animals? Do I like draft animals? Does this quote help me? Why did I quote this? A lot of times in college, I would put a quote in my paper and my teacher would pull me aside and be like, okay, so what does this quote mean? And I'm like, well, if you just read it, it explains itself. To me, before the advent of mechanized vehicles, the horse was widely used as a draft animal. This is just facts. Why do I need to explain this? But the thing of it is, it's what do you pull out of this quote? Me, because I am writing this into my paper. What am I going to pull out of this quote? Okay. So, as we see here, horses were the cars that pulled loads before we started using trucks and other vehicles to pull loads of goods. It's rough right now, but that's okay. That's okay. We're not to the we're making this pretty part yet. We're just making a paragraph with our ideas. So we just put something there. If you notice, I have horses capitalized. I don't need to have horses capitalized. It's not a proper noun. If I said Black Beauty, it would be capitalized because it's a proper noun. But horses, there we go. So in other words, we can edit stuff later. It's getting those ideas. What am I thinking about this? Oh, okay. So that's what you're wanting to pull out. As we see here, horses were the cars that pulled loads. Okay. So maybe I want to relate it to something that happens these days. Okay. So now at the supermarket where I work, we accept goods hauled by tractor trailers, which can haul many more things than a single horse. Well, wait a minute. Hang on. I may want a source to back me up on this. How do I know that a tractor trailer hauls more goods than a single horse? Maybe I need a source for that. Do you see? You can just going off of one thing. Oh, wait a minute, I need a different source for this. This is going in a completely different situation than I thought it was going to go in. So I need a different source now. Well, wait a minute. This is a different topic. Maybe I want to make this a separate paragraph. You know, forget this thing being paragraph 3. It's now going to be paragraph 4 because I've just started into a whole nother tangent that actually does relate to my theme of tractor trailers, transportation, draft animals. Okay? So a lot of times when you're writing, things change, things shift, and you're like, okay, that's actually a good way to go with this. You know, I've got a new topic. And, you know, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So anyway, it's when you're doing the draft and you're choosing your appropriate quotations or paraphrases from your notes, it's flexible. Okay? Stay flexible. Remember to introduce and cite your quotations. We introduced it here, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica. We have our in-text here in either MLA or APA format at the end. So then the teacher knows that everything here is from the person writing this particular paper. And this is from that person writing the paper. So you get credit for that. You get credit for this if you were writing this. And this belongs to the source. Everything's separate. Everything's wonderful and not plagiarized. So then I would say once you get your body paragraphs done, okay? Once you get your body paragraphs done, you've got these filled up. Then go back to the introductory paragraph, okay? And you may choose to be very creative here, depending on, the constraints of your teacher. Remember, your first paragraph is the first opportunity to make a claim or a case for the claim you're arguing. It's a lot of times the first version you have, if you write the introductory paragraph first or you come up with a thesis statement first, it may have to change a lot. So you have to go back and change it. Okay? Double check that all the paragraphs you've written, like we just did. We all of a sudden went into tractor trailers. Well, I need to put that back into my thesis statement if that ends up being more than one paragraph in this thing. How does it relate to draft animals? Okay? You're encouraged to use any strategy that works best for your paper. Okay? But try to, introduce it to your reader. End the intro with your claim or thesis statement. That's very important. Then, after you get the introductory paragraph done, then write your conclusion paragraph. And that's to wrap up your story. Story X is bad. Well, this is talking about analyzing a particular story, but think of it in terms of, we need to change something at the local drive-in. And you're writing to the government. Okay? Well, if you're changing something, what exactly do you want your reader to do? Do you want to call them to action? Are you just placently informing them of the opinion? Those aren't very good papers. Get them to do something. Ask them nicely to do something. Don't demand it. Don't make them all, you've got to do something. No. Just suggest and persuade them to do something. That makes it much easier paper to write if you've got that in mind. But you have one final opportunity to make your case, which is the conclusion paragraph. What is the main point of this paper? Here's some ideas. You could write an introduction in reverse. Start with your claim and work from there. Discuss your claim's importance. Why is it necessary that the bad person that why is it necessary? You can tell that I wrote this for something else. They were doing a story analysis. Why is it necessary that they do something about this cause? Okay? Offer a solution or a recommendation. Discuss why nothing should be done, or discuss what should be done. Or you can use concession, which is an interesting way of doing. You concede that there is problems and that you don't really have a solution for it, but that, maybe in the future there will be one. You can also format your paper at this point after writing your conclusion paragraph. Remember to follow the MLA or APA rules for formatting. Then proofread, revise, and edit. Okay? One thing I would highly suggest is Grammarly. Yeah, it came up right. So Grammarly is a web-based thing that you can add to Chrome and a few other. It didn't catch any of that. It's a web-based program. Thank you. You can add to Chrome, and it will check your spelling and grammar there. It is also available in a free download for Microsoft Word, and it does help. It doesn't pick out contractions, okay, which are shortened words that should not be in academic writing. So if I wanted to revise this document to get these contractions out, okay, in other words, I need to spell them out. And this also gets you 2 words instead of 1. So if you're like me and you type a lot of contractions, this is a good way to get them all out. Okay. So I want to find, and you can do a Control F to also open this menu, but I want to find a apostrophe, just the apostrophe. That's all I typed. Discuss your claim's importance. Wait, nope. That's a possessive. So that's okay. So that's the importance belonging to the claim. That's what it means. If you can read it that way and it sort of makes sense, then it works. Here, don't. Wait, don't. Do not. Well, do not, you think, is not exactly logical. So maybe I want to keep don't there. But I want to search again. Don't forget. Do not forget. Well, that sounds fine. Do not forget. Do not forget. And I just added 3 words from fixing the contractions in this 1-page document. So that can add you some more words to your paper. But proofread, revise, edit, make sure you've got the capitalization correct, periods at the end of sentences, that kind of thing. And make sure as you're reading through that everything that is yours is outside the quoted area, that the quoted area starts with an introductory signal phrase, ends with the appropriate in-text citation, that always in MLA or APA format actually points to the first item listed on the reference or works cited page citation. Now, that may sound very odd, but the first thing is whatever is listed first. So if it's an author, blah, 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 then author would be in it. If it is the article title, that would be in it. If it's the um, corporate author, that would be the in-text. Okay. So in-text are easy once you have the citation. Okay. So get the citation for the works cited or reference page for that source. So I would have to make up a citation for this source. Once I did that, then I would have whatever's first on that citation would end up being in my in-text. Okay. So be sure to get those where they match. And once you proofread, revise, and edit, you're ready to upload your paper to whatever wonderful Moodle, Blackboard your teacher is using. Hope this helps, gives you some suggestions for starting a larger paper. And, it takes time. That's one thing I can stress with larger academic papers is it takes time. So don't plan to do this the night before the thing is due. That is the biggest struggle I have with my students, that they wait until the last possible minute to start this. They haven't even found sources yet. They may have an idea of what they want to do, but they haven't even found sources yet. And so they're scrambling, trying to do all of these steps that take time. If you're not used to doing papers regularly, then, this stuff takes time until you get figured out how to do it quicker. And the first step, find your sources. Second step, start figuring out both your thesis, your claim, and your organization. What am I going to do with this paper? Once you get that situated, getting the draft is easy because you're also getting those quotations and paraphrases in order to make the body paragraphs. And once you get the body paragraphs done, then you just do the introduction, the conclusion, make sure your works cited page has all the in-text, and, it works. But it takes time. So I hope you don't leave this to the last minute and can actually start planning out your paper as soon as it is assigned so that you can succeed and get a good grade on your paper. Hope this helps.